All right. Good morning, everybody. There we go. Now it looks like the picture's clearing up a little bit. Anyway, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Friday, the 13th of July, 2018. It's our granddaughter's first birthday today, our only grandchild. We love her and we miss her, and we're sad to not be with her today. So we hope she got the birthday presents we sent. We haven't heard yet back, so maybe it hasn't arrived yet. You never know about travel time, do you? I was looking at my Vitex. I ordered some Vitex. I order Vitex seeds and they don't grow. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I went ahead and I ordered this year some Vitex, or did they come up? No, I ordered some Vitex plants, I thought. Well, anyway, we cloned them, and I've got 6 of them now, and I went ahead and repotted them yesterday. It's suggested that you wait a year, that you leave them in a pot for a year before putting them in the ground. The only other time I planted them in the herb garden, it didn't survive the winter. So that's what I'm going to do. So yesterday they were in 1-gallon pots, and I went ahead and planted them in bigger ones, and to get them through until next spring when I can plant them in the garden. I planted 3. Oh, there I went and dropped one. Huh, how about that? Well, it's the 3 of Cups. We'll see if it comes up, if that's the card. Usually the one you drop is the one you keep. but anyway, I planted the 3 elderberry bushes that I ordered. I ordered those this year from Strictly Medicinal Seeds down in Williams, Oregon. The guy that owns it is an herbalist, and it's great because he's got all kinds of medicinal seeds that you just can't find any other place. He also has live plants. And so I gave up on the elderberry, trying to grow those from seed. And so I bought 3 plants from him, and they're just beautiful. And I planted them the other day out in the medicine wheel. And I'm going to do the same with the Vitex, but I won't do that until next year. But they're looking really good. We've got a couple more in the cloner. We're trying. Jerry was able to clone a couple of them, and it takes a long time, though. If I remember right, it took about a month, and that's with putting cloning gel on it and whatnot. But they're looking really good, and so I'm really hopeful. Vitex is a really great herb for. Well, you use the berry. It can be either. You can keep them, as a bush or a hedge or whatever, or you can let them grow into a tree. It's called the chase tree. And you take the berries and you tincture them. And if you're at my age, it helps with menopause symptoms. So hot flashes and all of those things, I mean, what's a crone to do? So this one uses, motherwort tincture, a lot of it. Let's see, the Vitex. I formulate a menopause tincture with black cohosh and wild yam and all that other kind of stuff in it. But for just a quickie, you put half a dropper full of Vitex or motherwort tincture. Some say a full dropper full of tincture in a cup of tea, and there you go. And it's really helpful. So I'm not really into the whole HRT stuff. I'm not going to do that. So I would prefer to do it naturally. And just accept the fact that, we get to this age and the body starts changing for both men and women. And we might as well accept it. This hair began when I was 16. I used to have almost dark brown hair, not quite. There's a lot of red in it. So but it started going silver. Then I got a streak here. It was underneath, so you had to really, you know, pull my hair back to really see it. But you can kind of see where it used to be right there. And then it all filled in. And so I stopped dyeing in my early 30s, and it just all went like this. So I've been this way ever since. So for probably more than 30 years. So these things happen at odd times, you know, so we can fight against it, you know, against aging gracefully, or we can, which is fine, you know, lots of people do, you know, but I just like to just be who I am. So what you see is what you get, I guess. So let's count 13 and see what we've got for today. All right, we have the 4 of Cups. Well, it wasn't the other one, the 3. Was it a 3 that I did before? This ended up being the 4 of Cups, so the one next in line. Here we have a cup reaching out with a hand out from a cloud, saying, hey, look at me. He's sitting there with his legs crossed, his arms crossed, either irritated or in contemplation or something. His back is up against a tree. And there's 3 other cups sitting there on the ground. 4s are interesting. 4s are about structure. And sometimes it's about a fallow period. But typically when you see this card is interesting because it's almost like he doesn't see what he has. It's like he's got 3 cups in front of him. You know, cups is emotions. And so we're talking about our emotional presence. Maybe he's just caught up in his own thing and he can't really see what's in front of him or what's being offered to him. You know, maybe the emotions are just getting too much in the way of this. But what he doesn't really understand is that he's got what he needs. He just can't see it. Excuse me, there's a lot of pollen is high around here, and it's just been really getting to me. Basically, he has an obsessive focus, doesn't he? He simply cannot even see what's in front of him. So with 4, what you see is you have the structure to do what you need to do, but you're really got some limitation here, but it's not limitation that's imposed from the outer world. It's self-imposed limitation, isn't it? But I love the look on his face. It's just like, you know, I'm just not even going to look at anything today. Well, that doesn't work for people, does it? I mean, it's Friday, you know, you've got the weekend coming up. No sense in going. Let's see what the rune says. I have to tell you, between 4s and court cards, they're not my favorite. It's like, you know, there's all this stuff that could be happening with a 4. You know, the foundation is there. Everything you have is there. But we're either resting or we're taking time out or something. It's like, let's get on with it, you know? But instead, we're stuck in our own thought processes and our own emotional presence, which doesn't appear like he's, you know, having a very good time. Well, then we have Nathis, which is the need within. It's a fire rune. It's one of the Norn runes. You've got Hagalaz, Nathis, and Isa, which are the Norn runes. The Norns were the women that, the goddesses that when Odin was hanging upside down from the world tree, sacrificed an eye. You know, he hung upside down for what was it, 9 days or some such thing, to gain some enlightenment. And so you have the well down there at the bottom called the Well of Word, which, you know, word is fate and unknown. Then you've got the Norns, who are known as the Norns of Fate, who govern all of that. And they're the ones that basically govern men's fate. But Hagalaz, Nathis, and Isa as the Norn runes, Hagalaz is the 9th one. Nothies is the 10th one. So 10 reduces to 1, which is new beginnings. So what are you going to be, invoking today? And the Isa, of course, is things in place, or the static realm. That's number 11. So we don't reduce that. That's a master number for enlightenment and illumination. So, basically Hagalaz is, destruction and preparation of change, also known as the witch runes. So there you get an idea of what those 3 runes are all about. Nafis, though, is interesting because it's the rune of the future. It's the as I will it, so mote it be. It's what am I going to invoke today? It's the bringing all of the energies within and getting them going. It's getting them all, building, and then you're going to invoke it to the world. It can protect. It can help you achieve goals. It can raise the intensity of magic if you're using it in a bind rune or in a type of rune magic. It can banish, it can cleanse, it can bring positive change. It's also good in love magic. But basically what we're talking about here, which then, where'd he go? Here it is. We're talking about self-directed solutions here. In other words, figure it out, make a decision, do something, don't just sit there. And so what we're doing here is Nafis is really reminding, helping to remind this guy or and us of, hey, we've got more than we know. We actually probably even know the solution if it's about finding a solution. But this is saying, don't do this. You've thought enough. Now allow what you know to come forth, and stop all of the pity party. But it can also reinforce the antithesis of that, of taking a moment, allowing things to gel, and then moving forward. It just doesn't look like this guy really, he's more, if this were a swords card, then I would be more comfortable with thinking that way. But this guy, it just needs a little bit of a oomph, because I think he's just in a bit of a pity party, it looks like. So the other thing about this is about inner resistance. So what are we doing to resist our own process? And it kind of feels like that's what's going on here, doesn't it? That he's doing what he can to resist any kind of movement forward, any kind of accomplishment of anything. Excuse me. And so I think that's what we're dealing with today. If we're feeling kind of out of it, if we're feeling like maybe we're not very loved, or we're feeling like we're not wanting to engage with other people, or, we're just kind of feeling sorry for ourselves maybe today, understand that you have the power within to change all of that. And if things are not going the way you want them to go, which, I mean, when do they really, when is life ever perfect? Then grab that and pull that friction, activate that friction within, pull together all of your intention and all of your focus, and figure out what you need to do to move away from the tree. If you're not just sitting there meditating and enjoying the tree itself and nature and all of that, then get up off the ground and go do something. Even if it's just walking around looking at the plants that are around you. If you're lucky enough and you don't have someone in your life who kills your dandelions, then you can go out and you can wander about, and you can don't take scissors or anything. Just go and grab things. Go grab some dandelion leaf. If you can find some chickweed or some cleavers still growing. Sometimes, people pull that stuff. You shouldn't. They're wonderful herbs. If you have any lemon balm growing, if you have any chamomile growing, go pick some and then stick it in a cup, pour some boiling water over it, let it cover it, let it steep, strain it out, and have a wonderful cup of tea. It'll take you out of this, I guarantee it. So have a wonderful, I guess that's it. I think I got carried away thinking about tea. Now I want to go make a cup of tea. I need to go wander about my yard. But again, it really is the need within and the friction within that motivates us to move from a space of fallowness and of being stuck, and moving us into something that's more positive and more productive. And even if it's just spending time joyfully with others, even if it's just spending time joyfully with yourself, just being at peace. This guy here doesn't seem to have any peace, and that's not okay. He needs to stop focusing right here and look around and see what he really has. And that's probably the best advice I can give anyone. Sit up, take notice, and recognize what you actually have instead of all the things that you don't have. So have a lovely weekend. We'll see you Monday. Thanks so much for watching, and blessed be.